Self-driving cars. They're poised to become the next revolution in transportation. Actually, the world has not seen a disruption of this scale ever since the car took over and took the horse out of the streets. But what does this all mean for children and seniors and people who are not previously able to drive a car for themselves? What happens to all the taxi drivers and truck drivers? What would happen if there's an automobile accident, a collision? Who's responsible? And just when are we going to be surrounded by all these driverless vehicles? The questions are endless. The amount of change and disruption that this is set up to enroll has never been seen before. We can only just begin to imagine possibilities. But yet, imagine we must, because we cannot take the back seat and let automated vehicles design the future for us. We must be the architects of our own destiny. We have to design incentives that will promote the outcomes we desire and curtail the ones that we don't. So the focus of my work, I've decided to narrow it down to my area of expertise, which is cities. Multiple studies show that the average car today is only used for 6 hours in 1 week. The rest of the 162 hours is stationary. That means that 95% of the time, a car is just sitting parked in parking lots. But what if the car does not have to park? What if, after dropping you off at work, it can head back home or continue being useful and drive other people to places they need to get to? What happens to all this unoccupied parking? If this paradigm shifts, it represents a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for city development. At the same time, what happens if the fight for parking shifts to become the battle for the curb? Likewise, if, for example, you no longer need to focus on the road while driving, you can sleep, you can read, you can even work on your commute, what then means, would you be willing to live even farther away from work? Would people be willing to trade, in order to cheaply buy a larger house, would they be willing to trade a 1-hour commute for a 2-hour commute? And what does that mean for urban sprawl? What does that mean for transit? So what I've done, I set out to explore these and many, many other potential ways that driverless vehicles could impact the urban landscape and create a handbook of opportunities and pitfalls. In a sense, a manual for decision makers to help them understand how could autonomous vehicles shape the way cities are designed and built. Thank you.